Hello and welcome back to Somewhere in Bookland. My name is Michelle and I haven't posted in almost a year. It's been like 7, 8, 9 months, so yeah, basically about a year. I figure my first video back should be the intimidating TBR tag because I have a lot of books I have to read and I was planning on going like a 2017 wrap up, but that was when I was planning on filming in January and that didn't happen. So now it's the intimidating TBR tag? Yeah, let's get started. I already filmed this once and then I didn't have my mic plugged in right, so the sound didn't work. So let's get started, right? Yeah, I'm angry at myself right now. Good job, Michelle, yay. So this is gonna be different than the one I had filmed earlier because I don't remember what I said and I loved it. I was hilarious. That's what I remember. Now, like, I'm not gonna be hilarious because I'm angry at myself. Let's get started, shall we? Question number 1. What book have you been unable to finish? The book I've been unable to finish is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. I have tried reading this book multiple times. I first tried reading this book in 10th grade. At that point, I had never seen an adaptation of Pride and Prejudice, and I just couldn't get into it. I had borrowed it from the library, couldn't get into it, returned it. That was that, or so I thought. Then my friend showed me the Keira Knightley Pride and Prejudice and I loved it. I was like, oh, I should borrow it again from the library and try and read it. And that didn't happen. And then eventually I bought it and I was like, you know, I've watched this movie so many times. I'll probably like the book now because I love this movie. Tried reading it. It helped a little bit because I kept picturing the movie. I kept picturing the movie, so it helped a little bit, but didn't help a lot, and I just couldn't get through it. I've read Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and I thought that was okay. I was able to get through that. There's just something about this. I might listen to the audiobook. I might try rereading it again. I love this cover. I just couldn't get into this book. So yes, that's number 1. Number 2 is what book have you yet to read because you just haven't had the time? And that is A Game of Thrones by George R.R. Martin. I have this copy, the paperback floppy copy. I have the little leather-bound copies, and I have audiobooks of all of them. But it's not that I don't have the time to read it, because I have the time to read it, but when I see this book, I think of all 5 books, and that seems like a long time to spend reading them, and I'm afraid I'm not gonna like them, and it just seems like a big commitment getting into these. And I haven't seen the TV show either. I'm out of the loop completely on this series, and it just seems like a lot to get into. Yeah, so I included in the first time I filmed this video, I talked about why I hadn't filmed in a while and the fact that I got a new job, a new position at work, that I like more than my old position, and I talked about how I moved, and I talked about how my shelves are breaking, and I didn't put that in this one because I don't remember what I said. But yes, got a new position at work, moved, my shelves are breaking. Sums it all up. Question number 3. What book have you yet to read because it's a sequel? And the answer for this is Empire Storms by Sarah J. Maas. I have read the first 4 books in this, but I honestly can't remember Queen of Shadows that much. And I started reading this book and I couldn't remember who some of the characters were. Like, I remember the first 3 books and I remember the basics, like, of Queen of Shadows, like the main things that happen, but I couldn't remember some of the characters that were introduced or just some of the characters or what happened to them. And so I started reading this book and I was like, who the heck is this? And I caught like page 40. We got to page 40 of this book and I stopped reading it, which means I haven't read Tower of Dawn either. So I'm just falling further behind on this one. But yeah, I just haven't read it yet because it's a sequel and I would have to reread the 4th book and I haven't wanted to do that yet, so further and further behind. I'm falling further and further behind. Question number 4. What book have you yet to read because it's brand new? Now, the book I have yet to read because it's brand new is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I pre-ordered this book, so I got it, I think last month, and I just haven't read it yet. I really want to read it, I just haven't read it yet. I don't know why. I've picked up books after I've received this one. I've read books, so I've had the time to read it. I just haven't picked it up yet. And it's one of the newest books I own that I haven't read yet, so I thought I'd include this one. Ooh, and it's so pretty. It's beautiful. Question number 5 is what book have you yet to read because you've read a book by the same author and you didn't enjoy it? And that is Furthermore by Tahara Mafi. I got this book at Y'all West, the first Y'all West I went to 2 years ago, and I had already read Shatter Me and I didn't like it. But this one sounded so interesting, so I picked it up. But I'm just scared to read it because I really didn't like Shatter Me. And my friend had recommended it to me because she liked, she loved it. And so I bought, like, we tend to like a lot of the same things, so I had bought all 3 books. And I haven't made it past the first one because I did not like the first one. And she told me it gets better and I should just keep reading it, but I haven't done that yet because I don't really want to. But yes, it's Furthermore by Tahara Mafi. And I will eventually read this because I really want to read Witchwood because Witchwood sounds amazing. And this cover is beautiful, but yeah, I haven't read it yet. Question number 6 is what book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for it? Also, this tag was created by Lindsay Ray. I keep forgetting everything I said in the first one. Like, this tag was created by Lindsay Ray, who is no longer making booktube videos, and her channel's gone. And I used to love her booktube channel because I used to get all my fantasy recommendations from her. And, yes, I forgot to say that because I am just so flustered right now that it didn't work. And yes, I still get recommendations, like I look and see what she's reading on GOODREADS to see what I like because I tend to like the books and graphic novels that she would recommend in her YouTube channel. Question number 6 is what book have you yet to read because you're just not in the mood for it? And the answer to that is Stardust by Neil Gaiman. I have seen this movie, I own this movie, I love this movie. I think I picked it up at Walmart years ago in like one of those $5 bins, and I didn't know it was a book at the time. When I found out it was a book, I bought the book, and I haven't read it because I'm afraid I won't like the book. Which is weird because usually it's like I read the book and I'm afraid I'm not gonna like the movie, but this time it's opposite. Like, the Maze Runner movies, love the movies, hate the books. I'm afraid it's gonna be like that. I'm afraid I'm gonna love the movie, hate the book, and it makes me sad when that happens because I love books. And so when the movie's better, it just makes me sad. Question number 7 is what book have you yet to read because it's humongous? And the answer to that is The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I have thicker books. This one's like just over 850 pages. I have thicker books, but here's the story with this one. I've been wanting to read this book since I was in 8th grade, and I turned 28 in 2 weeks, so that's a long time. I remember seeing like a movie or something based off this book, and then I found out it was a book, and that made me want to read it. And then my 8th grade teacher, I saw her reading the book one time, and she was like, you know, you're just too young for this book. And now my battery is dying. She was saying that I was just too young for this book, and I don't see how that worked because I used to read a lot of different stuff that I probably wasn't old enough to read, and she was borrowing this from a girl in my class. So it's not like I was too young for the book if she wasn't too young for the book. Like, it made no sense. And then I checked it out from my school library, like my senior year of high school, and I just didn't read it because now I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, it's so big, and you know, It's just I ended up buying it, and it's just I have yet to pick it up because in my head I just think of how big it is and what if I don't like it, and it's been all these years that I've been wanting to read it, and if I don't like it I'm gonna be so disappointed. So yeah, there's that. Question number 8 is what book have you yet to read because it was a cover buy which ended up having bad reviews? And the answer to that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. Now this wasn't a cover buy. I got it from Y'all West last year, and the cover's not like super amazing, but the book sounded amazing, and it was about fae and fairies, right? And I thought I was gonna love it, but then I started seeing all the reviews for it, and they were saying that it was bad, and I haven't seen a good review for it, and it makes me not want to read it because I don't want to be disappointed in it. So yes, I have yet to read this. I still want to, but also like I don't want to be disappointed. Yes. And the last question, question number 9, is what is the most intimidating book on your TBR pile? And the answer to that is the Alexander Hamilton biography by Rob Chernow, which I bought because I'm Hamil trash and I love Hamilton. And I want to read the book that inspired Lin-Manuel Miranda to write his Broadway play. But I'm not the biggest fan of nonfiction books, and I tend to listen to them more than I tend to read them. And it's thick. Nonfiction. I don't know why I bought it. Because I doubt I'll ever read it. I want to read it, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know anymore. This was my intimidating TBR tag. If you would like to like it, click like. If you would like to subscribe, click subscribe. I'm gonna try and post more consistently. I'm not gonna guarantee anything because who knows? I'm going to try, but I've said that before and obviously that didn't happen. So I keep looking at myself because I'm not really looking at myself. I'm looking at the stupid blinking battery that's about to die.